It's day 3 of Paris 2024. We saw lots of action in the pool with 5 finals: the women 400, the men's 200, men's 100 backstroke, women's 100 breaststroke, and finishing off with the 200-meter freestyle final for women. And of course, lots of other sports as well. There was fencing, there was judo, and there was lots of other interesting sports. Some may say that swimming will be head-to-head with athletics this year, but only time will tell. We are here to tell you all about what took place in Paris in the day number 3. This is We Paddy Prime. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being with us. I'm Sachin Ramsabag, and once more joining us on set, J. Hugh Gordon, Janelle Atkinson, 2-time Olympians, and of course, Anil Roberts, the lovable lunatic himself from Trinidad and Tobago, who has very, very strong opinions about almost everything you can talk about as it pertains to not just sport, but some other factors as well that we will be discussing, Mr. Roberts, later on in the show. First up, Janelle, this has to be a very special day for you, especially being a former swimmer and seeing so much finals taking place.
No, absolutely. This is probably one of the more exciting days because the first day is usually kind of like working on all the kinks and the bugs. So people who had us swim yesterday, you're seeing them come a little bit more alive even today or yesterday and the day before, or today, sorry. So it's very fun seeing so many finals happening tonight, so many change of the guard, so many surprises, so many, different elements happening today.
Yeah, J. Hugh, and I know you're not, this is not your specialty. You made that quite clear to me before we went live on air. But what are your thoughts on day 3 in Paris 2024 overall?
Coming off topic a little bit, Janelle took today so seriously, she actually wanted to race me in the hotel pool this morning and putting bets on the board.
Is anybody believing that?
No. She said even with 2 surgeries done on her shoulders, she could take me in the pool still. So
the excitement was there.
The excitement is still there clearly from Janelle. She wants to head back in the pool. My days for swimming is retired. Yeah?
Have you ever had days for swimming?
No.
Like a doggy paddle, like a doggy paddle.
we keep the hurdles jumping. What about you, Anil? Your thoughts on day 3 so far?
Well, day 3, once the swimming starts, from heats to finals, semi-finals, excitement.
Oh, yeah.
What has taken place and what as a coach I'm realizing and questions will have to be asked. The pool seems to be slow. People will wonder, but Anil, how could the pool be slow? It's the 10 lanes, it's the same Merthyr pool, there's flow over guttering, the lane ropes are the same size. But all of the swims, except for the men's 100 backstroke, have been quite slow. They've been slower than the trials that Australia had their trials about 4.5, 5 weeks ago. US had their trials 3.5 weeks ago. Everybody is just off. The 200 freestyle gold medal, it made for exciting swimming. The 100 breaststroke 59, 144 the 200, 344, 343 the 400. All of the times are a bit off, a bit slow, and somebody will have to figure that out.
Do you think it has anything to do with one opening ceremony?
No, because those toppers who go for gold medals were not in any opening ceremony.
Are you so sure about that?
Boss, guaranteed. All of those Australians, the Italians, those who are up on the podium, the Americans, those who are out to swim would have been home relaxing. They don't play. They play after. You see when swimming done and track and field, J. Hugh and them going, those swimmers, like you saw in Brazil what Ryan Lochte did. He did all sorts of nonsense, made up all sorts of stories. The truth was, he was partying too hard. Cameras caught him and he got in trouble.
Well, we are not getting in trouble here. We are about to take a short break. Stay with us. The discussion continues after this.
Courage, our hearts beat. De chaque nation, nous venons pour rivaliser. Avec passion et courage, nos cœurs sont élevés. In the arena, we give our all. With grace and honor, we stand tall. Dans l'arène, nous donnons tout. Avec grâce et honneur, nous restons debout.
Welcome back. We are back on We Paddy Prime, and it's time to talk swimming following the third day of competition in the big pool. Trinidad and Tobago's Zuri Ferguson and Bermuda's Emma Harvey missed out on qualification to the semi-finals of the women's 100-meter backstroke. Ferguson finished third in her heat with a time of 1 minute, 2.75 seconds for 27th spot overall, while Harvey finished 8th in her heat in a time of 1 minute, 1.78 seconds for 23rd spot overall from 36 competitors. Now, they spoke with Donald Oliver post-race, Zuri and Emma. Let's hear what they had to say.
Emma, 1 minute 1.78 seconds, just outside your personal best. But talk to me about what it was like in the pool for you.
Oh my God, it was amazing. I mean, you know, of course, everyone wants to come here and go best time at the Olympic Games, but I'm just so happy. You know, I was pretty close, and it's such an amazing atmosphere. So I'm just happy. You know, I was able to go out there and do my best.
Were you a little bit nervous before?
Oh my God, I was so nervous. I mean, it's just you don't think you're going to be, you know, that nervous because you've had so many competitions and everything, but standing in that ready room, I mean, I could barely feel my body. It was just crazy, but it was an amazing experience, and yeah, I hope to do it again in 4 years.
And Zuri Ferguson, 1 minute 2.75 seconds. After all of that, as a 17-year-old competing at the Olympics, how are you feeling after that race?
I feel great. Like, even though it wasn't my best swim, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy for the opportunity, and I'm glad I got to experience all this.
What's the learning experience after all of this?
You see, just being able to race against the best in the world, I can only go up from here. Like, there's so much to grow from.
I mean, were you nervous heading into this race?
Not as much as I was expecting, so that was good.
What was it like performing in front of such a massive crowd here?
It was really cool. Like, I could feel the energy throughout all the stands, and I tried to funnel as much of that into my race as I could.
I'm sure your high school and Trinidad and Tobago are really excited about that performance and you competing.
Yes, yeah.
All right, what else are you looking forward to in terms of enjoying the rest of the Olympics?
Oh, I'm excited to just watch the finals of the other days. Like, the energy here is so great. So.
Indeed, such great words indeed from Ferguson and the Bermuda swimmer as well. Both athletes, again, we spoke on this yesterday, Janelle. The young ladies are coming up to the frame and now building a reputation for the Caribbean as it pertains to swimming, a reputation that you probably started many years ago.
You never say it like that. It was a long time ago, yes, but we could have said it nicely.
Okay, I could have said many years ago.
A few years ago.
Fire him.
No, but I mean, it's really interesting to see, you know, these, you know, I'll call them youngsters for the most part because, you know, they are very, I would say, inexperienced on that world level. So for them to be at those games and really, just as Zuri had mentioned, you know, really feeding off of the crowd, because that's what you have to do, you know, with being from smaller countries like us, you know, we don't have those crowds at our swim meet. So to be able to be in a meet like that and hear all that, you know, emotion, all that passion, and being able to, even though they know that they're not cheering for them, being able to challenge, to change it up so they think that it's for them.
Chris, what about you? Emma Harvey, representing Bermuda, of course, saying that she was extremely nervous in the ready room and could barely feel her body.
Understandable, as I said, coming out in front of a big crowd. She would have seen her brother perform the day before. He did very well as well. Jack won his heat. But what was impressive for me from a Harvey perspective is that she would have been listed in Heat 4. And as Janelle explained to me earlier, you know, being in the later heat shows that your ranking is high up the order. And to think that from a Caribbean perspective, we'd have had one of the higher ranked swimmers in the pool, I think that's progress in itself. So congratulations for her for being able to perform in that kind of scenario. Yes, she came 8th in that heat, but her time was better than some that we saw in heats 1, 2, and 3. So I thought that was impressive from a Caribbean perspective. And yeah, it's good that she overcame the nerves. So that in itself is a learning process for her. Yes, she was nervous and rickety in the change room, but had to come out and put her best performance out there. And even though she didn't do a PB, she was close to it and got her act together. So I think from that perspective, it's growth and a learning curve achieved.
Before we get to Janelle, how would you advise young swimmers coming up, looking on to this program and seeing these young ladies swimming, representing their nations, representing the Caribbean? What advice can you give to them when you're in that ready room and that nervousness hit? How do you deal with it?
You know, anything is possible. And, you know, I've always said if you have a chance or you have a lane, you have a chance. And in that instance, even though they're in, you know, earlier heats, you know, I've been in situations where I've actually won competitions from not being in the final heat. So it really doesn't matter. It's all about time when it comes to swimming. So as long as they put their, you know, their heads forward and focus on what the goal is, which is to be better than what they've ever been before, that's all we can ask for.
Anil, you've been subdued for a while. Tell us, what are your thoughts on the two young ladies representing the Caribbean?
Well, let me be clear, and first and foremost, everybody's saying they didn't do the best time. You have to compare like with like, apples with apples and oranges with oranges. That is a morning swim. Zuri's fastest time is in the evening in a final. Morning swims are different. It's harder to wake up the body and get fast in the morning because when you sleep, you dehydrate. You've got to have a special, different warm-up for a morning swim, especially for swimmers who made the circle seed. In swimming, the last 3 heats, the top 24 is the best. So when you come 8th in heat 4, first of the seeded heats, it's not that's not bad. You're in the top 24 in the world, so you came well. However, it's clear that the coaches didn't really understand how to get them ready for the morning. You have to wake up earlier. You have to know that your body would have dehydrated. They would have lost 2 to 3 pounds while they were sleeping in the REM sleep for 8 hours. So they have to sip their water, drink, start immediately. You may need 2 cups of coffee spread out as you wake up, and then an hour and a half after to start to metabolize. You may have to do some skipping and calisthenics to stretch and wake up. You may have to take a warm-up swim, which means go in the pool when nobody's there early, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. Do 600 or 700 meters. Come out, dry off, change your suit, put on a dry suit, then go and do your 42-minute warm-up. Have another cup of coffee. They didn't do those things, and therefore we are saying they didn't do their best time, but they did their best times in the morning, and I'm very proud of them. Zuri's start was fantastic. If she has things to improve on. These 2 girls could be racing to be the first Caribbean swimmer under 1 minute in 100 backstroke. Zuri needs in a start, she took 9 butterfly kicks, but her feet were apart. They have got to be closer together. She went out well, her turn was good, but didn't snap her feet over. You've got to take advantage of the new rule that you can turn over on your stomach, pull a freestyle, and snap your turn. Emma, her stroke rate is fantastic. She was swimming at above 64 strokes per minute going out, and she didn't drop off too much. She dropped off to about 58 strokes per minute coming back. So these 2 girls are on the way. The Caribbean could be proud of them. They did exceptionally well, and I'm happy for each of them, and I look forward to them getting there in 4 years, under the minute, and possibly getting in the top 16.
Yeah, and they said that as well. They said that I mean, even Emma said she was looking forward to 4 years' time where she will get to perform at this level. So it shows that level of confidence and excitement. And it's good to see when you interview athletes after, especially young ones, they have that kind of personality, vibrant, smiles out there, even though they didn't progress. So it shows that, as you said, they're in good stead for the future.
Yeah, certainly so. And I think it really augurs well for not just swimming, but it augurs well for just total development of Olympic sports in the Caribbean, because now we're seeing young ladies and young men as well. Young ladies specifically, we're talking about this position. They're young and upcoming. We saw Shaw from Antigua and Barbuda yesterday, 15 years of age. Now Ferguson, 17 years. So that age category in the teenage years doing their work and doing well as well, Anna.
What's exceptional is that Zuri, for example, is 17 years old. Janelle would tell you she's now going to enter the college NCAA system. Now, everybody in the Caribbean feels once you reach in the USA, you're going to find a good coach. That's not true. You have to find a coach that suits your personality, suits your stroke, suits your body type, understands also that we in the Caribbean, these are diamonds. We don't have many of them. So we've got to take care of them. We've got to cherish them. We have to know that after NCAAs, you've got to take care of them into July, Commonwealth Games, Pan American Games, Pan Pacifics, Olympic Games, World Championships. But the competition in the NCAA is the greatest. When you get on a team, and Janelle would let you know, I'll give her to let you know when there are 20 girls training. There's no time for slacking. Janelle let them know about the pressure and how brilliant it is to have that culture of training.
No, and you know, you hit nail on the head, because in college, it's one of those where every weekend you're expected to perform and perform at the highest level. You're racing against different teams, and some may be a little bit better, some may be a bit weaker, but at the end of the day, it's not like here how you have every 6 weeks or so. every single weekend, and you're still having to train at the highest level. Plus, on top of that, you have school, you have all these other things. The culture shock of understanding, okay, I'm now a college student, not a high school student anymore. The expectations from the professors are so much heavier and so much greater. So it's one of those where going into the college atmosphere and then, of course, training yards, there's so much more to almost kind of like digest and really like put into place. And it's one of those where not for nothing, and one of the things that I will say to any youngster who is there, you don't have to wait until your second Olympics to make an impact. Make it on the first one, because you never know what happens in 4 years. A lot can happen. You can get injured like I did. And, you know, it's one of those things where don't count yourself out just because, oh, well, I'm not really experienced. No, go there. You have a chance. You have a lane, you have a chance. Go for it.
As McIntosh, who's 17, showed. We'll talk about that just now from Canada.
Well, we want to wish the ladies all the very best. They did well. They represented the Caribbean well. Now let's switch gears a bit to the finals that took place. The men's 100-meter backstroke final, the women's 100-meter breaststroke final. Of course, the women's 100-meter IM as well taking place. Let's first talk about the men's 200-meter freestyle. David Popovic, 1:44.72 from Romania. Matthew Richards, 1:44.74 from Great Britain. And Luke Hobson, 1:44.79 from the USA. Any surprises there?
Now, if you notice those times you called, between gold and bronze, there's .07. That's 7/100ths of a second. Now, let's be clear. 1:44 is pedestrian. That's very slow. Popovici just recently, earlier this year, went 1:42.95. So something is going on. Is it a positive? Is it the pool? I need to investigate. But it made for exciting racing. And Popovici, and if you all have followed swimming, the greatest freestyler, the greatest stylist. You know, some people in track and field talk about Juan Terena, how he ran 400 meters. You know, El Caballo, they call him. He's smooth. There's a man called Alexander Popov of Russia. He's the greatest sprint freestyler ever to grace the planet. His technique is superior. His acceleration, his body position, his head position. And Popovici in lane 4 reminds the world about it. He has a world junior record in the 100 and 200 freestyle. He was the world record holder in the 100 freestyle until the Chinese swimmer took it. But he was being outclassed here. The older men with more experience took it out hard. But out in lane 8, out there was, I think, Matt Richards, far up wide from Britain. But Britain has the gold medal in the 4x200 from Tokyo, and they have a lot of confidence. And he went out there, tried to steal the medal. Martins won the 400 freestyle. So right here, I'm thinking he has done his job, because someone with that amount of fitness has to take it out, to take the speed away from the technicians. But Martins just didn't have it. He had a poor third turn, and then Popovici and the boys came through. But I must say, for a young swimmer coming down here, look at this race now. This is where it's at. Everybody's in pain. Everybody wants to stop. Everybody's crying for mommy, but you've got to get to that wall. And right here, Popovici holds his head down, did not breathe for the last 6 strokes, got his hand on the wall, and took gold. So even though the time is slow, when it comes to Olympics, nobody cares about time. If you win the 100 meters dash next week in 10.01, you don't care. But who could run 9.7? Yeah,
gold is gold, silver is silver, bronze is
Correct.
bronze. Janelle, any surprises in that particular race for you?
No, and it's one of those where, you know, with Martins, I'm actually surprised he took it out as quickly. But at the same time, he had to do something, because he knows that he doesn't have the type of speed that the rest of them had, even though he has the endurance for it. So he can't switch as quickly as the others can. So, I mean, he took a chance. He was hoping that he probably had a little bit more distance to break everybody else's spirit, and them thinking that they couldn't catch him. But yeah, I had another thing coming.
Led for 150. Yeah, led for 150 meters, Martins, but you know, as I said, just couldn't maintain it. Rapsis, a little bit disappointing. The Lithuanian has shown so much quality over the last few years, but as you said, this was a tough field. Richards, who was underwhelming in the semifinals, out in lane 8, so ostracized, as you would have to say, from the race. But to put together that kind of performance where you're not necessarily feeling the energy from the middle lanes, I thought, I mean, sometimes you can feel lonely out there, I guess, but that was, I think, a top performance from him to come back. Hobson, for me, was a bit of a surprise. So if you're going to ask, I didn't have Hobson necessarily in the top 3. But what he is, I've noticed, is a strong, that last 30 meters of Hobson is very strong. In the semi-final, he came from nowhere, I think, to 5th to second or first in that in the semi-final, and he did it here again. So yeah, but Popovici, totally agree myself. And Janelle said, you know, it was Anil's favorite, and you could see his smoothness, his slender body, physique, and everything. Really magnificent.
I must say, I didn't expect it to be so close. But when you talk about the 200 freestyle, the outside lane, if you could time it properly. Now, if you overdo it and you go too slow, you'll be 9th. Like what happened to Francisca Van Aansik. There are only 8 people in a final. In 1994 Rome World Championship, Van Aansik was the world record holder. She went easy in the morning, came 9th. Did not make the final, but luckily for her, there was a German in the final. They got her to scratch. Van Aansik went out in lane 8, set a pace, and snuck away from everybody on the first 50. The Chinese swimmers who won 12 medals out of the 13, they didn't see her.
They didn't see her.
And by
Right,
the time they saw her, it was too
late.
late. And from out in lane 8, outside smoke, she took the gold medal.
Now we have several other finals to discuss, so quickly let's go through them. In the women 400-meter individual medley, that IM, Summer McIntosh, getting her first Olympic gold medal in 4:27.71. Katie Grimes 4:33.40 and Emma Wyant 4:34.93 out of the USA, taking 2-3. Of course, Canada taking that top spot. Chris, what are your thoughts on those times?
I thought McIntosh set the platform for that. Broke the world record in the, the trials for Canada, or just a month before, 2 months before. So I thought, you know, as I said, getting the skills together. 17 years of age, she's obviously showed a lot of maturity, led from early in the race and maintained it. I mean, it wasn't the kind of gap that we saw from Marchand earlier, obviously in his 400 meter, but there was quite a gap between her and the rest of the field, and I thought that was impressive for a 17-year-old to show that. At first I wondered if she had gone out a little bit too fast, too early, but the fact that she maintained that into the breaststroke and then the freestyle in the 3rd and 4th legs, I thought was very impressive. And way beyond her years, I think she has a bright future, as Janelle says, if she stays injury-free and other things. But I thought she was a favorite, and she produced that kind of performance.
All right, let's go to the men 100-meter backstroke final. Thomas Chechen, 52 flat. Zhou Jiang with 52.32. And Ryan Murphy, 52.39 from the USA. Italy, China, USA, 1-2-3. Anil, your thoughts on those?
Well, this race, the times were fast. Not world record, not 51.60, but out of all the races, this is the closest to the world. But because all of those names that you called, Chechen, Ryan Murphy, the perennial, and he got gold in 2016, silver in Tokyo, and now bronze, so he has the plethora, plus he prefers the 200 backstroke, but he may be a little bit off. He was better in the US trials 3.5 weeks ago, but he's a racer. He tried to go out fast. If you could see him over there on the top of the screen in the 2nd lane, he's going to turn and look over this wall. He does his fly kicks, goes down deeper than everybody, picks up more speed like Bilkoff, the blast off from 88. There he's taken the lead, but normally Murphy will relax. Nobody passes Murphy in the last 18 meters, but look what's happening. He's getting rough, he's fighting, his mind is trying to push, but his technique is going, and here comes Chechen. His head is still, his technique great, and an absolutely perfect touch to take gold. That's the 2nd touch that Italy has made in the 100 breaststroke. Martin Nagy with a perfect touch to beat PT by 0.01 of a second. And Fink, who tied for silver, and now Chechen. So the coaches of Italy must take a round of applause for getting your hands on the wall. That's what it's about.
Good finishers.
Really well done. Really tight race indeed. Women 100-meter breaststroke, Janelle, the final. Tatiana Smith, 1:05.28 from South Africa. Quinten Tang from China, 1:05.54. And Mona McSherry with 1:05.59 from Ireland. Another tight race again.
Yeah, no, and I will say what impressed me the most about Tatiana is that she went out calm, cool, and collected. And it's easy to panic in that breaststroke. And like we had talked about earlier before, breaststroke is one of those strokes where you can't rush it. No matter all the other strokes, you can pick up the tempo and you'll be okay. But breaststroke, it's all about the power. But you can't rush power. So the fact that she stood back, let everybody else do the work the first 50 and really just like hammered it home that last 50, that takes a lot of confidence, and it takes a lot of almost kind of like reservation, because you're seeing everybody else go. But for her to sit back and still be confident in her ability to run everybody else down, impressed.
Would you say it was a tactical race?
Impressed.
Absolutely, I agree with Janelle. For her and the Chinese swimmer went out under 30 seconds, 29.80. And for Tatiana Schumacher, married now Smith.
I know you have to put in that. I know you had to put in the Schumacher.
For Schumacher to come back there. Look at this here. She is still about half a body length behind. But she's coming, she's accelerating, she's maintaining her feel and her timing. What Janelle talked about, this stroke, if you try to go too fast, if your arms go too fast and get out of sync with your legs, you end up spinning your wheels and staying in one spot. I mean, one could remember in 1984, we had the USA in LA.
Here we go with the dates.
Yes, you must know it because you have to learn from history to understand what Janelle is saying. There was a guy in lane 2, the USA, Steve Lundquist, who walked out in hot sun in LA with gloves on, mittens, and people were saying, but this guy from Texas is crazy. John Moffitt, 102.13, was the world record holder in lane 4. Victor Davis of Canada, the 200 breaststroker. And Lundquist in lane 2 had the start of a lifetime, just like the Chinese swimmer. Went out, they couldn't catch him. He took gold, 101.65, world record, and he shattered the timing of all those class breaststrokers. So Schumacher, to stay calm, keep her technique. That's great coaching, great swimming.
As cool as a cucumber, Tatiana.
Correct.
Yeah, and even though Tatiana was a favorite and delivered, you would have to say that McSharry wasn't a favorite coming in. Yes, she had probably the fastest time, but you said to yourself, yeah, that's a semi-final, not top. But for her to keep King off of the medal podium, the world record holder, and still keep the composure to finish in third, I thought that was remarkable from the Irish lady as well. Because
and I think it's their first medal.
Yes.
All right, let's get some quick reactions now to the women's 200-meter freestyle final from Australia. 1-2, Australia taking it home yet again, first and second. Molly O'Callaghan with 1:53.27, an Olympic record as well for her. Australia as well, second. Ariane Titmus, the popular name in this Olympics, 1:53.81, and Howie from Hong Kong in the third spot. Anil, we sat in studio while looking at this race, and you know, it's nighttime in Paris. The conditions a bit cooler as well. Did that have an impact on this race?
Well, let me tell you what had an impact on this race. While you see the two caps there, Australia, the yellow caps, don't get confused. There is a war that goes on every time those two girls get in the pool. They may hug, they may cheer, their nails may be yellow, they're for Australia. But look at this, Titmus has gotten beaten. O'Callaghan got revenge on her from the trials when Titmus took the world record from her and just out-touched her. O'Callaghan now has the gold medal. I really believe that Titmus had it when she hit that wall because she is 400, she could go 800, but O'Callaghan, she knew, Molly knew what Titmus would do. She increased her kicks. Her body came up with the last 30 meters. The only thing was a very bad touch. I mean, she could have touched better, but I guess with all that pain, her touch was bad. If I have to be, as a coach, I'll say great gold medal, but we have to touch the wall better. But it was a fantastic swim. 1-2 for Australia. What can you say?
I think it was a really good developmental way for Australia as well. If you have 1-2 and they're battling as well, their personal battles, it can only augur well for swimming in that country. We take a short break and come back with more great discussions on We Paddy Prime. Stay with us. Well, at only 18 years old, Jaden Hibbert entered last year's World Championships in Budapest as one of the best triple jumpers in the world and a favorite to get on the podium. However, The world under-20 record holder pulled up with a hamstring injury, unfortunately, on his first attempt in the final. 1 year later, he is at his first Olympic Games, looking to right the wrongs of 2023. He had a chat with Donald Oliver. And our team also caught up with Bermuda's Perinchief, who will compete in one of those events as well. Yeah, that was a really nice piece there from Jaden Hibbert, Jamaica's Jaden Hibbert. Now let's take a look at Bermuda's Janai Perinchief.
It's been a really good last couple of seasons for you. I remember the bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games in particular. What a high that moment was for you.
It was an extreme honor. The only next person to do it is a mentor from Bermuda, Brian Wellman, who is also one of my coaches here. So it was a great honor, especially being from one of the smaller islands.
Talk to me about this season for you. How has it been?
This season's been great. Had a short approach PR, opened up pretty well. It's been up. I would say it's been up and down, but it's also been good because I had a lot of proof that I'm ready to jump far.
I know you're in Paris for the Olympic Games. I mean, are you nervous a bit?
Honestly, surprisingly, no. Before, I probably would have been a little nervous, but I think I'm putting in the work. I have a great training group, great support system, great coach, Travis Gaffer, great mentor, Brian Wellman, great weight coach, MC, So I think I'm ready. Well, I know I'm ready.
What are the standards that you've set yourselves as you prepare for Paris?
Not really have no standards other than make final and then go out there and have fun and compete to the best of my ability.
Is there any pressure on you at all?
Not really. I mean, my country supports me. They're happy to be here just as much as I am, coming from, a country of about 60,000 people. So as long as I come out, do my best, I know they'll be behind me, but I'm going to try my best to get on that podium.
What do you say to them now?
We're here. Let's get it done.
They are certainly there in Paris. They're certainly here in Paris, and we are here to discuss those points as well. It's the second time, I must say, I heard the story of recovery. This time around from Jaden Hibbert of Jamaica. I heard Keyshawn Walcott's journey to recovery as well from Trinidad and Tobago after getting that injury. Both of them saying very similar things. They went through spiritual moments, emotional changes as well, mental toughness developing. Jehu, what's it like dealing with an injury?
Well, injury is never something that is easy to come back from. When I hear young Jaden Hibbert speak, he speaks way ahead of his age group years. He sounds like a man on purpose. He sounds like he's on a mission. He doesn't get distracted by too much of the noise that is going on around him. And I believe that he's grounded in the right way that he's supposed to. Well, he's making a point here that, he puts God first in everything that he does. So I would see a young man who is grounded and he's on a mission to not let all the distraction and even the injuries get the best of him.
Chris, what's the feeling like on the ground in Jamaica from Hibbert? He said that the people are still behind him, supporting his content online, giving him this love wherever thousands of miles away they are. What's the feeling like on the ground in Jamaica?
Lots of persons excited about him. I think he would have gone down in most of the predictions in terms of getting on that medal podium based on what he's shown as a junior. I can remember in Budapest how many, everyone in Jamaica was, hurt by the fact that he had gotten injured, was worried about him as a young prodigy coming up. But great to see his recovery, using a higher power to drive him through. I think that's important, whatever you can find to give you that form of resilience or help you along the journey. As Jehu said, never easy to be injured. So you have to grab at all kind of things to help you in that, in that way to build that mental toughness and so on. So great to see that. Lovely to see him having a lot of fun as well. We've seen him right around the Olympic Games. He's taking a lot of videos. He's, doing selfies, listening to his music, whatever. And for a youngster, as Jehu has said, seems very mature. Good to see him taking in all at the moment, but still realizing that focus is essential if he's going to produce big results. Has respect for the rest of his opponents, but I think he has that talent and ability to certainly get on the podium. And I think in Jamaica, most persons are, I would say, expecting, as Jamaicans do mark hard when it comes to their track and field, expecting him to somehow get on that podium. And yeah, good to see generally good triple jumpers coming out of the good jumpers on a whole coming out of the Caribbean. Young Janai as well doing so well in the Commonwealth Games. Obviously, the Olympics now brings all of the top teams from around the world. So, it's just good from a Caribbean perspective to see multiple persons involved at that level.
Anil, you probably would have been very, very happy to hear him speak the way he spoke about his recovery, his mental toughness, and admitting at some times that, every day he felt like crying at one point in time. So it leads to my point of saying, hey, maybe we need to do some more mental toughness work with many of these athletes, preparing them for a very high possibility of injuries becoming an onset.
Well, that's a key point. You have to do physical preparation and mental preparation. You have to train the mind just like you train the body. You make microcycles and macrocycles for training to get your ATP, CP system, your power, your output, your strength, your base, your cardiovascular, your lactic acid cycle. You do all of that, the science tells you, but you have to do your visualization, your preparation, your dealing with anxiety, how to focus, how to set goals and so on. Now, first and foremost, you know, to be a goalkeeper, you have to be a madman. What you going in the goal to let man hit bullet at your farm? You know, to be a batsman facing down Ambrose and Courtney Walsh and them, you have to be a little bit crazy to protect. You only have this little bat to protect yourself. To be a triple jumper, hop, skip, and jump. That thing have injury from the takeoff to the change your foot and land to the acceleration again. Every time I see anybody doing triple jump, I cringe because I had surgery on my knees, ACL surgery and all of that, anterior cruciate ligament. This sport is really, it's beautiful to watch, but it looks painful on the body. Now, you have to understand these athletes, what makes them great, what makes Jehu great, Janelle great. They are what we call ball peons, but the sport don't have a ball, but they love the sport, they live the sport. Everything is about the sport. When you get injured, it's like taking their life away, taking their sport, they don't know what to do with themselves. Then they start to worry now. What's this injury? How long will it take? When can I get back training? They are training junkies. These people to this level take 7 or 8 hours per day of intense training. Bam, you pull your hamstring. All you have to do now is ice 20 minutes on and off 3 times, go get some ultrasound. You can't run. You could probably go in the pool and pull something, but it sends you bonkers, and you have to learn how to deal with that. It's depressing. There's nothing worse than sitting on the sidelines and seeing others competing and training.
And let me, sorry, Joe, you
go ahead. You mentioned sitting on the sidelines, but many athletes have worked at least a 4-year career to be in the Olympic Games this year. And I'm sure we would see athletes out there that would be on some kind of pain medication, that would be bandaged up because they understand what it meant to work for so long, so hard, so many sacrifices, tears, injuries, and the priorities they had to make over those periods to just make it to this Olympics. You're not guaranteed another Olympics, so sometimes people are excited, don't worry, next Olympics you're going to be there, but nothing is ever guaranteed in sport.
Absolutely brilliant points. Quick point, Chris.
Yeah, I was just saying, I heard you mention the crying and you say, you know, you wonder if these guys need to do a lot more mental work. And I just wanted to say sometimes it's a misconception that crying means weakness. And I think that sometimes, especially in the Caribbean, we look at that the wrong way. Sometimes crying could be strength. The ability to show your emotion, not many persons have the ability to do that and still maintain their composure. So I'm just saying there's a lot of times people think about crying and think weakness and so on. Maybe that's strength, the ability to show your emotion, get past it, and move on. Critical in terms of, as you said, mental stability.
You're talking to Carl Hooper? Yeah.
Brilliant
Hooper
points.
Is okay that you cried 3 times out.
All right.
It's all right, Carl
Brilliant
Hooper.
points made by Chris there. We're going to take a short break and come back with more great discussions on We Paddy Prime. You don't want to miss it. Sports commentator Bob Bullard has been removed from his Olympic Games role after making a perceived sexist remark about the Australian women's swimmers after their relay gold medal win. As the 4x100-meter freestyle relay team was making its way off the pool deck in Paris, Bob Bullard said they were, quote, finishing up, unquote. He added, "You know what women are like, hanging around doing their makeup." That was what he said. Now, reports are that they were waving to the crowds and celebrating their achievement when Mr. Ballard made his comments. Broadcasters, Eurosport said this in a statement. During a segment of Eurosport's coverage last night, commentator Bob Ballard made an inappropriate comment. To that end, he has been removed from our commentary roster with immediate effect. Now, Ballard has since responded saying, quote, "The comments I made during the Australian freestyle relay victory ceremony on Saturday have caused some offense. It was never my intention to upset or belittle anyone, and if I did, I apologize. I am a massive advocate for women's sport. I shall miss the Eurosport team dearly and wish them all the very best." Now, some really, I would say, borderline comments there, but as broadcasters, we prepare. Sometimes we over-prepare, but nothing really aligns at times, and we really have to improvise on the spot. I'm not sure if that was an improvisation by one Mr. Ballard, but firstly, before I go to the lovable lunatic, I want to hear Janelle's thoughts on that statement from the commentator. What are your thoughts?
You know, his apology was even worse than the IOC's apology about North Korea and South Korea. I'm sorry, because it's one of those where you're not taking any accountability of what you said. The first thing you said was, well, there's some offense supposedly, and you know, my intent. The intent means nothing. The impact that you have on women's sports and women in general, it's inappropriate. And it's one of those where if you're really sorry, then you would have actually said, I understand the words that I said could have or are offensive to women, and I apologize. And you can't then back it up with, but I'm a big supporter of women. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Interesting. I'm going to take this discussion, friends, like a debate in a parliament. Janelle, you gave your side, and be it resolved. Mr. Roberts, what are your thoughts?
5 seconds.
Well, I am a great supporter of women. I've coached many women. Some of my greatest athletes are women. The men and the boys cannot take the pressure, the jamming, the intense training, the performance, the competition. Women are superior to men, in my opinion, when it comes to elite level sport and training. I am still trying to figure out what he said that was offensive. As far as I'm concerned, women that are born, they use makeup and eyelash and hair thing, and man like bald head and big belly like me, we don't do them thing. So the women are, or they could be fit, they could be strong, they're brilliant. They're also beautiful, and they like to put on a little makeup and so on. I'm yet to see the offense. I see Janelle is really offended, so I'm going to kick back to her to explain to me, the Neanderthal, what the man said that was really offensive. He make a little joke saying, oh God, they're taking long, because you know woman that's put on makeup. But 94.7% of women that's put on makeup, and nothing wrong with that.
But like you said, there's some of us that don't really wear makeup. I'm wearing makeup now because I'm on air.
Right.
However, in everyday life, this is not me. Now, at the end of the day, it's one of those like, how could he have meant it as something that was supposed to be a compliment? Because when if he was describing that about men, right? Let's say it was a 4x1 men's relay and they were taking forever, and he made that comment, it would be just as bad. And he wouldn't be meaning it as a compliment to the men's team for taking forever.
Okay, but if it was a men's team, like I'm going to put myself in his position. And I say them men taking long because them always have to go in the toilet. But any time them have a function, man have to go in the toilet. It's a joke. It's nothing. I mean, women wear makeup, man don't wear makeup. Historically, you may not. That's good. But I put it to you, my lady. You are the exception, not the rule.
The norm.
So not the norm. The majority of women. And if a woman wants to wear a little makeup or eyelash or fix her hair, more power to her. If she wants to improve on perfection and beauty, God Almighty make women, they're gorgeous and beautiful, they're intelligent, they're strong, they swim well, they train hard, they could take more pressure. Man has be crying in workout when woman going hard. And if they put on makeup and look good too, I see nothing wrong with it. They fire the man for that. But then they have, the IOC president still have he walk, and they call South Korea, North Korea. They have the IOC president still have he walk, and they give me a whole hour and a half of all kind of things that I didn't know what was man, what was woman, and what was in between. I find they've gone too far.
I find you've gone too far there. Let's keep the discussion. Let's keep the discussion to this comment.
The question was, how can it have been taken in a positive way?
Yes, meaning you're strong, you're fast. Women are multifaceted, intelligent, brilliant, hardworking.
No,
They
but how can
and they
that
look good
comment,
too. Yeah.
how can that comment say, no, they're taking forever, you know, women are always putting on makeup. There's nothing positive about that. That is meant to be rude and disgusting.
Oh, good, disgusting. No, you're going too hard.
Okay,
Disgusting.
all right. So
See, I
let's
think
repeat,
Janelle gone hard. I
let's
didn't
repeat
see
the comment.
disgusting in it.
Bob Ballard said, well, quote, well, the women just finishing up, you know, what women are like, hanging around doing their makeup, end quote. Now, in hindsight, I could see Janelle's point. Maybe he could have said, hey, you know what? The women, they are trying to look much better for their photo opportunity so that the front page on the newspaper will look even better than they are right now. So maybe that, do you think that statement would have been much better?
Or if he had just looked and seen what they were doing, then there would be
But
no
Janelle,
need to comment about their looks, their appearance, or anything like that.
Okay, but he
Not for
also
nothing.
commented on
I am
this
going to cut
brilliance,
you off
yeah?
here because remember when Simone Biles, when she went in 2016 and her hair was all over the place and she was
not Simone Biles, the other one from before, Gabby Douglas in 2012.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when she was in, everybody was lambasting her. Her hair stays so and and she don't even look good. And
oh, that's different.
It's along the same category because you're concerned about women's looks and taking it less about their abilities and their performances.
Okay, well, furthermore, you're going deep there because with the Gabby Douglas issue, you also bring in white commentators commentating on a black girl in a historically white, predominantly sport. So you have racial undertones that have existed for hundreds of years. I understand that.
But
this
it's the
thing,
same sexist undertones.
Well, I am
overtones at this point.
I am grappling. I'm trying to see it.
You're not trying.
I'm trying
Try
to see
harder.
the man
Harder.
lost his walk. but I am still trying. You're saying how could it be positive? I am saying it is positive because, in fact, people normally say that swimmers, women swimmers, they're so strong and their shoulders so broad and they're not beautiful.
And that's not meant as a compliment either.
Oh, no, I'm saying that people normally say that and it's wrong, and therefore, by him saying, here are my beautiful, strong, powerful women who also are absolutely gorgeous, that is like normalizing and realizing and bringing back. I don't see it could interpret it positive. Maybe it was off the cuff, but the man just commentating. I don't see it as an attack on women. I think people, you have to learn to laugh about yourself. Look, my boy calling me the lovable lunatic. Are you supposed to get vexed and coffee down and say, boy, you know?
You're a lunatic.
No, boy,
you are a lunatic. I would do like you.
You see? No, I should take offense, SportsMax.
Yes.
Get rid of Janelle. She hurt my feelings. I'm going to cry. No, you have to laugh about yourself. Stop taking yourself so
So, Anna, you were saying it was a light moment, Anna. You were saying it was a light moment in the broadcast?
Yes, a man, they fire a man for a light joke. All right, if the joke wasn't so funny. So all you will go in a comedy show, go in a Dave Chappelle, all you will drop dead.
That's different. A comedy show is different.
Well, no, but
This is
okay, the man was just trying to make a joke.
But if he was saying that about men, he would not be saying it as something that's positive. So in the same instance, you're using the exact same. No, but that's the point. You're saying that women take forever to get ready and they're putting on makeup. Somebody please help me.
I'm gonna add something to this discussion.
Okay, hold on. My daughter is here with me. My daughter bathed and changed very quickly, but she have hair down to her back here, and she have to fix her hair and so on. She's take at least 22 minutes. I go soap my ball head and I ready in 7 minutes.
You don't have hair, so that doesn't count.
But I'm a point. But most
if
man don't
you're describing a man in that way and saying, oh, how I'm taking so long, putting on makeup, blah, 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 you're not saying that to be nice and to be, it's an offensive comment.
I don't know. I think offensive deals with things that are not true. It is true
and as
that
a
the
man,
majority
you're
of
entitled
women...
to say that.
Oh, no, it is
true. And as
true.
a woman, I am telling you that it's offensive.
The way God made man and woman, it takes a woman longer to get ready, whether
Don't
it's
generalize.
clothes or... But
Don't
it's
generalize.
Man don't have to put on bra. Woman have to put on bra.
They don't have to. We do, but we don't have to.
Right, okay, but what I'm saying, men and women different. It's easy for a man to throw on a jeans, put on a shirt. We are no hair.
A woman can do the same thing, though. A woman can do the same thing.
With their long hair.
Let me add something to this discussion.
How much man does put on eyelash?
His co-commentator. Well, if the camera were to zoom into mine, I don't need any eyelashes.
That they show in Paris on the bridge. Yes, that thing.
Now, listen. His co-commentator said after his statement that
But she laughed.
hanging around doing their makeup, she said, man, that comment was outrageous. And he laughed about her
But
comment.
she laughed too.
She did not laugh.
She did not laugh.
She didn't laugh, but
Nope.
I read something that says she laughed.
She did not
He,
laugh.
there's an S before
Well,
the
she
he.
must have been Janelle's friend because that is just a
That's
funny
okay.
joke. I mean, listen, if people are offended, well, he apologized and so on. Even if you find his
A week.
apology wasn't good, but to lose a job, understand the man was fired. We have had commentators calling black players boy and so on and still commentating. We have had serious issues of commentators in NBA and American football. We have had a quarterback who kneeled down because black people were being killed in the USA and so on, and commentators ridicule him and them still commentating. This man made a joke. Maybe you say it was a bad joke, it wasn't funny, it was a corny
It's a bit
joke.
out of place,
But to
maybe.
be fired and to lose his job, I think that's overdone.
All
I
right,
think
so
the
we
punishment is too
just have
hard.
about 25 seconds remaining. Janelle, you were saying, confirming that his treatment after that statement was justified.
I think so, and I think it's one of those things where people need to understand that you can't just say whatever you used to say. 20 years ago, that statement probably would have been more widely accepted, but we're in a different era right now. So because
sensitive
of
era.
that, not even sensitive, right? People are more talking about how they feel and the impacts that people have on the things that they say. And it's less about the intention you had behind the comment and more about the impact. And if you can recognize the impact that you have on somebody else, then at least you'll start to understand why they would be offended by that. But if you're not interested in understanding, don't even
Okay,
apologize.
but one last point.
No, nothing to
If
say.
the man-
You're done,
Jesse,
you're done, you're
You
done.
have 15 seconds.
If the man has a track record of respect and bigging up women and so on,
No, he said they always says things like that.
Huh?
So he has a track record of always saying things like
well, you
that.
see now, all you're going further now. All you're now saying the man have a track record of disrespect.
You just said it's a track record.
No.
And he's been around for a while. I
Okay.
guarantee he's been saying these things for forever.
You're guaranteeing, you ain't sure. But I am saying, if this is a one-off, bad joke,
Final statement, huh?
I don't see it as outrageous. If people are hurt by something, you apologize because you don't ever intend to
So
hurt
you're
someone.
saying that him losing his job was
It's
not
too
justified?
much. No, that's terrible. That's Eurosport playing to the French community. That's why they pull in sponsors from the Olympics. That's why people switching off the Olympics.
All right.
Because they overdid. They should fire the Olympic ceremony organizers who organized that showcase.
Mr. Roberts, Anna Roberts, one Anna Roberts. See why I call him the lovable lunatic, everybody? See why I call him the lovable lunatic?
We
Thank you
love
very much,
woman
Anil.
too, and woman sweet, bright, strong, and should run the world.
Thank you
and
very
look
much,
good
Anil.
too. Yes.
Thank you very much, Anil. Thank you very much, Janelle. Thank you very much, Jehu and Chris as well. This has been We Parry Prime. I'm sure you enjoyed that last discussion the most. We will see you soon, guys, on behalf of the entire production team. Thanks for watching.
We give our all with grace and honor. We stand tall dans l'arène. Nous donnons tout avec assez honneur. Nous restons debout. Nous restons debout. Nous restons debout. Oh, 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 oh. Nous donnons tout avec grâce et honneur. Nous restons debout. Nous vont notre éclat. Oh, oh, oh. Nos cœurs sont élevés. Indiens sont élevés. In the arena, we give our all. With grace and honor, we stand tall. Dans l'arène, nous donnons tout. Avec grâce et honneur, nous restons debout.